Officials in South Africa confirm Olympian and convicted killer Oscar Pistorius has been released from prison. The Olympic and Paralympic athlete was freed on parole early this morning local time after serving nearly 9 of his 13-and-a-half-year murder sentence. Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, through a bathroom door on Valentine's Day 2013. He says he mistook her for an intruder. Prosecutors argued he killed Steenkamp intentionally after a late-night argument. A jury convicted Pistorius of murder in 2015. Ollie Barrett is in Pretoria, South Africa, with the details on Pistorius's release.
Oscar Pistorius will have to stay in this Pretoria part of South Africa. He'll also have to stay at the address that has been agreed with authorities, which we believe to be his uncle's house here in Pretoria, for a designated amount of hours per day. He will not be able to consume alcohol. He will not be allowed to give media interviews. He will need to take part in a further part of rehabilitation sessions on things like anger management therapy and also gender violence issues as well. There will be discussions with a parole officer should Oscar Pistorius ever want to take up any employment opportunities, that kind of thing. Travel will also be restricted internationally, and we expect that these pretty strict conditions for Oscar Pistorius will be in place for the remainder of his sentence, which would take him through until December of 2029.
And we know that this has been a high-profile case from beginning until his ultimate conviction. Now news of him being released on parole. So much more reaction and so many eyeballs on this, of course. So what has the reaction been there in South Africa as people learn more about his release?
Very much so. Part of the attention today has been focused on whether we will see Oscar Pistorius at all. South African officials insist he's not being treated in any different way to any other criminal being released on parole, but we did not see any images of him leaving prison earlier. We've seen no images of him arriving at his home address. Some women's groups here in South Africa are saying that they don't believe Oscar Pistorius should be released in this way before he served his full custodial sentence. Again, South African authorities respond to that by saying that they've followed the protocol here. He came up for parole as any other prisoner would, having served over half his sentence and having fulfilled various conditions. But it remains deeply controversial here when it comes to Pretoria and how Oscar Pistorius is going to live out the next days, weeks and months of his life here. There will be a huge amount of attention focused on whether he does become visible around the city or whether he remains mostly confined to that house, his uncle's house, we expect, in Pretoria. So it remains a very, very high-profile case, a controversial case here in South Africa, but it may well be that we get through this day of his release without seeing anything of Oscar Pistorius at all.
Ollie Barrett reporting in Pretoria, South Africa.